right, big fanfare here now. This is a Fox News alert, and Fox News has confirmed that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will announce his candidacy for president tomorrow. Let's bring in Brett Baer, anchor and executive editor of Special Report. Brett, we hear that the announcement is going to take place 6 p.m. tomorrow night in a Twitter Space conversation that Ron DeSantis will have with Elon Musk. Wow. It doesn't get much bigger than that.
That's one way to do it.
Some major news that we just learned. Ron DeSantis will announce his 2024 presidential campaign tomorrow evening on Twitter using Twitter Spaces, which is a live audio conversation format. He'll be joined by Twitter's owner, Elon Musk, who previously said that he would support Ron DeSantis for president. DeSantis will apparently also release a video that night, likely bragging about his MAGA agenda in Florida that bans books, targets LGBTQ people, bans abortion, attacks immigrants, and makes it easier for people to wield guns in public without a license or training. Because what better qualifies you to win that primary than a laundry list of those who you've attacked? Now, it's especially interesting that this announcement will take place on Twitter, the same platform that Tucker Carlson just said he'll soon move his show to after being fired by Fox. Elon Musk is very clearly seeking to make Twitter not a haven for free speech, but a haven for far-right extremism. And if you needed more evidence that Twitter isn't actually the haven for free speech that Musk claims it to be, recognize that he just recently censored posts about the Turkish election after that country's authoritarian government asked him to do so. When he was pressed on it, he doubled down on his censorship and attacked critics by saying their brains had fallen out of their heads, as if doing so was that much of a no-brainer. All of which is to say, leave it to the quote-unquote free speech warrior who cares so much about people's rights to simultaneously endorse a candidate who's made it his primary mission as governor to take away people's fundamental rights. Makes total sense. And by the way, as far as Elon's track record on political endorsements is concerned, I'd say that it's lacking at best. Take, for example, his recent spate of endorsements. Here he is saying Trump will be elected in a landslide victory in 2024 if he's indicted. In fact, Trump's favorability ratings have stayed at historic lows since he was indicted and arraigned in New York. Here he is endorsing Rick Caruso for mayor of Los Angeles, who lost his election to now current mayor Karen Bass. And here he is endorsing Texas Republican Congresswoman Mayra Flores, who lost her seat to a Democrat in 2022. If you want to lose an election, you should probably seek out Elon Musk's endorsement. With that said, Ron DeSantis' track record isn't much better. Only days ago, in the mayoral election in Jacksonville, Florida, DeSantis endorsed Republican Daniel Davis, who ultimately lost to Democrat Donna Deegan. With Deegan's win, that seat flipped blue for only the second time in 30 years and erased Jacksonville as the biggest city in America still under Republican control. He also backed Kelly Craft in the Republican primary for Kentucky governor. She even outspent the other Republican candidates in that primary 10-1, all to come in third place. She lost by 30 points, meaning that Ron DeSantis' endorsement is effectively a kiss of death in the Republican Party. All of which is to say, it's pretty fitting that a consistent political loser in Elon Musk is offering his tacit endorsement to a political candidate who himself has been losing nonstop in recent months. But here's the thing. Maybe the reason that Ron DeSantis isn't resonating with people is because he doesn't actually care about his own state. He doesn't care about the people he's supposed to represent. They are just a stepping stone for him on his path to trying to get as much power as he can. And with his 2024 announcement coming tomorrow, we can expect that his cravenness will only grow. The problem for him, though, is that he's not smart enough to figure out how to ensure that his stunts don't constantly backfire on him. For example, he trafficked innocent families and children seeking asylum to Martha's Vineyard for a cheap political stunt, and instead the whole debacle revealed the massive difference in how blue states treat immigrants versus Republican governors.
Thank you.
He's waging this huge war on wokeness, and then when Americans were actually polled on what they think about wokeness, it turns out that a majority of Americans view it as a positive. Only 39% of Americans think woke is a bad thing, according to this nationwide poll. All the while, his state's residents are losing their rights. We just learned today that the poem The Hills We Climb, which was recited by Amanda Gordon at Joe Biden's inauguration, has been banned by a Florida school after one single parent complained under a new law DeSantis signed. They said that the poem was an example of hatred and indoctrination. That's right, this is now banned.
So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the wind-swept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild reconcile and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Yeah, if you could find me the hateful part in there, I'm all ears. And yet Republicans have the audacity to suggest that Democrats are engaging in cancel culture. Got it. DeSantis also recently signed a new anti-immigrant law that punishes businesses and local governments that allow undocumented immigrants to participate in the economy. As a result, undocumented immigrant workers in and near the state have been boycotting that state.
Y andamos todos agüitados porque no llegó ni una persona a trabajar, ni alma se mira.
A esta hora, 9:30 de la mañana, esto estuviera lleno de gente, de muchos trabajadores latinos, inmigrantes, y no hay nadie, señores.
No hay trabajadores. Venimos a checar a Miami, a ver si es cierto y es verdad, mira, no hay trabajadores, todo es vacío.
Ahora cuénteme, miren, los que quedan están sentados, porque mira cómo está el trabajo ahí, miren. Y los que quedan están sentados. Esos son los que tienen papeles, los que quedan. Nunca había visto yo a una gente sentada ahí.
En Del Rey, Florida. Miren, no están los estoqueros, los que conducen las máquinas. Todo se mira desolado. Nadie quiere trabajar. Todo está parado en Florida.
Van a cerrar este trabajo por falta de personal, no lo pueden continuar.
There's like less than 20 people working today. Usually there's about 100. And it's really interesting. I'm wondering how they're going to get this project done without undocumented workers.
El trabajo hay, pero la mano de obra se fue.
Es lunes, 10:15 de la mañana. Esta tienda solía estar llena de gente comprando, sobre todo este tipo de material. Y miren, como pueden ver, ahí está completo.
Entonces lo que voy a hacer es trabajar solo, miren. Nomás yo estoy aquí.
Nadie sabe lo que tiene hasta que lo ve perdido. Miren, para que vean, ve, estoy yo subido aquí solo, nadie me está cortando, nadie está nada. Saludo a Ron DeSantis y a los cubanos allá, no a todos los que están diciendo que se vayan, que no importa. Bueno, vénganse, ayúdame.
He's effectively lighting Florida's economy on fire because he's about to announce a presidential campaign and he wants to prove that he's more hateful and xenophobic than the other candidates. All the while, his own actions are backfiring on him by proving how essential immigrants are to the everyday functioning of American society. And of course, let's not forget the fact that he's being utterly humiliated by Disney right now after they announced that they would be canceling their nearly $1 billion Lake Nona Town Center project in Orlando, which would have created 2,000 new jobs in the state with salaries averaging $120,000. A debacle that all started because DeSantis couldn't stand that Disney released a statement supporting LGBT rights and disagreeing with DeSantis' new Don't Say Gay law in Florida that banned the acknowledgement of the existence of gay people in Florida classrooms. And just to add insult to injury, Disney's California theme park, Disneyland, just announced that they would be investing $253 million annually by overhauling their Anaheim resort with new attractions, shops, restaurants, and entertainment. And finally, DeSantis also recently signed into law an extreme 6-week abortion ban that requires abuse victims to show their documents to prove what happened to them. If they can't provide it, they'll be forced to give birth against their will. That bill is deeply unpopular. The vast majority of Floridians, 64%, think abortion should be legal in all or most cases. So once again, Ron DeSantis is stupidly hurting himself in the long run just to pander to a shrinking MAGA base. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that Ron DeSantis is on a pretty big losing streak. He was asked recently how he would respond to falling behind Trump in a recent Republican primary poll, and this is how he responded.
Governor, polls show you falling behind Trump. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not a candidate, so we'll see if and when that changes.
Dude was in Japan cosplaying as president and yet goes full pearl clutching when someone dares ask about his campaign, pretending that he's not a candidate. But sure, totally normal guy. So if he wants to announce on Twitter, a relatively small platform owned by an out-of-touch billionaire who has a long track record of endorsing political losers, go right ahead. Americans can see right through this guy and his dangerous fascist agenda. And if Trump, by some miracle, doesn't eat him alive, then the vast majority of American voters who actually believe in defending democracy will. Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to the channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads, I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.